So I make it sound like it was super easy, and it was at the beginning. And I feel like that was the thing that I needed to
the beginner's
luck.
luck.
Yeah, exactly. To fall in love with it.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I wouldn't have done it. And then since then, I've gone through the roller coaster like everyone else.
Do you know how many times Agam's come to my place and just open the door and she goes, I quit.
Does it feel crazy? Like you guys are like doing comedy on Hollywood Boulevard.
Isn't that
crazy?
Because you know people
there must be a part.
Ask me, they're like, "Oh, where are you running your shows?" And I'm like, "On Hollywood Boulevard, bitch."
Yeah, where all the drug dealers are. Actually, you mean
they don't
area.
know though, right? In their head, they're like,
they're probably like, "Oh, she's running like some rundown thing in like suburbs of LA." I was like, "No, it's right in Hollywood."
Yeah.
What's up?
TK. Okay. Let's do it. Let's go.
Let's do it.
Welcome to another edition of the CONVO SUTRA. My name is Tarun Shetty, here with another amazing episode with our usual panelists and a very special guest. But first, how about we do a quick intro for our audio listeners?
Hi, guys. I'm Priya. I'm a comedian, producer, actor, and I'm really happy to be here.
I'm Pritesh Shah, producer, actor, comedian. I'm back.
Hi, my name is Agam Darshi. I am an actor and a filmmaker.
Yeah, so happy you're on the show. And thanks to Pritesh, who actually is friends with you.
I'm super happy because Agam and I don't talk all the time, but I would consider you a very, very close friend.
Exactly.
Now, does he put you down nonstop? Because we've realized
you know
that
what? I feel like he used
girls.
to, and then he realized that I could do the same to him, and now he doesn't.
Yeah,
I love that.
Agam's a sensitive Canadian. And I met her and her husband right when I started stand-up. You guys came to like my first show. You guys just moved here. And I met you and her husband, and they were in the front row. And I remember doing stand-up, and the face you and him had was appalled. They were appalled.
It was because your comedy was so bad.
Oh, that's messed up. She was just
love you.
She was just like, and then we had a mutual friend who was like, oh, you should meet Agam. She's coming to your show. And that's how I met you. And then I don't know how, but we just like kind of hit it off and stayed in touch. So I'm super stoked you're here.
Yeah, I'm so excited.
I'm really happy you're here.
Aww.
Yeah.
I'm hearing that biting wit. You're from England?
Yeah.
Born? Because English people have that thing. I know you moved to Canada, but...
I think it's a bit of that. My dad has a really good poker face, and he jokes a lot. But my mom would always have to like laugh out loud so that people understood that he wasn't offending anyone. He was actually just it was his sense of humor. And so I think I get it a little bit from him. Like I think if I really like you, I'll put you down. And that's kind of like me.
Yeah.
It's just my love language.
Oh, yeah. If I'm not making fun of you, we're not close enough where I'm like,
Yeah, it is.
you know, you suck, but I love you, but you suck.
I'm the exact same, but Agam's personality is like, because you're a little bit quieter.
Yeah.
And so it may seem like, wait, is she joking? Is she not? See, I know you, so I know when you are and when you're not. Because I'm loud, so you can see my intonations more. You're very subtle.
Oh, you're loud?
You're the last person that should be talking, sweat shoot. I'd chill out. Go on, Tarun. Take
The American
somewhere.
bravado. I actually wish I had some of that. I do. I really, as a Canadian, and a British Canadian person, I'm envious of that bravado that Americans have. That kind of like, you guys are totally okay being like, I'm number one, bitch. Like, I'm good at this.
But don't you feel like you and I have spoken about that, like working on that self-worth and feeling like you're deserving of feeling that way? I mean, we talked about that last year, right?
What do you mean?
Like even on your TV show, right? Sight Unseen, check it out. Agam's TV show. Paula, very proud of you.
Thank you.
But it's like, you know, feeling like you belong there and feeling all those things, which is...
Yeah, but I think for me, my self-worth comes from a place where it's like, okay, I feel like I'm worthy, but I don't sell myself.
Yeah.
And Americans are really good. And it's not a put down at all. I think it's actually a great thing to have where you can be like, no, this is what I'm good at. And this is why you need me. That's something that I think is a really great.
Or sometimes it's just delusional.
I mean,
we're like, we're the best country. No, we're not.
What I really liked about your work that I saw is that you make your own stuff. Like you're a filmmaker, you write, like you're not just sitting around. And I was really impressed with everything I saw. So I'm really honored that you came on the podcast.
Oh,
Thank you.
Thank you for having me. Yeah, I mean, it's always really great to connect with other creatives, right? I'm a mom as well of twins, and so I don't get out of the house much, as Pritesh can tell. So every once in a while, I come out and I'm like, I'm in Hollywood, you know, and I get to like talk to you.
But that being said, I've known you before you had your kids. You barely got out of the house too.
Exactly, that's true.
And she is a phenomenal writer. We actually worked on something. We were like writing something together. That's actually how we got bonded.
Yeah.
Probably like 2013.
Something like that, maybe 2014.
And then we got to know each other a lot better. But And then the Donkeyhead was the big thing that you got on Netflix. If you haven't watched, you definitely have to watch it. Great film.
That's
which
amazing.
I should have been on, but it was during COVID, and I couldn't come.
You did
play
the
it.
read through.
I did, and she's like, "You want to come?" I'm like, "I can't fly to Canada. I don't even know what to do."
I couldn't hire Americans.
I know
Yeah,
it sucks because I've
crazy.
always wanted to work with you.
Yeah.
But yeah, super talented.
You've been acting since you were a kid.
I have a minor in theater from university. I have a BFA in visual arts and a minor in theater. And then soon after, I ended up moving to Vancouver, which is considered to be Hollywood North. And I booked my first job, and I wasn't really planning on acting. It was just something that I sort of fell into and was very sort of lucrative at the beginning of my career. And that was about 20 years ago. And so since then, yeah, it's been a really great ride and a really hard ride. So I make it sound like it was super easy, and it was at the beginning. And I feel like that was the thing that I needed to
The beginner's
fall,
luck.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. To fall in love with
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Otherwise, I wouldn't have done it. And then since then, I've gone through the roller coaster like everyone else.
Do you know how many times Agam's come to my place and just open the
Quitting.
door and she goes, "I quit." She'll be decked out. She had like, I remember that one, you had like the biggest audition and you felt like it didn't go well. And you came and you're like, "I'm done." I'm like, "No, you're not." I'm like, "No, I'm done, Pritesh. I'm done. I'm done acting. I'm over this. I'm done."
And I think the thing that's kept me through, or at least that's changed it for me, is the fact that now I write and direct.
Yeah.
And so now I love acting, and I don't have those highs and lows as like
Because
I
I think it's easy as an actor to get caught up in what you're doing, and you forget that you're just part of this whole story.
Exactly.
And then I guess when you've had experience even producing, directing, or writing,
Yeah.
even from me producing stuff and directed a short, you're like, "Oh, dude, just do it."
Just do it. And also,
Like,
it's
this
just this
is-
other part of your
Yeah,
brain that
yeah.
you get to exercise.
Yeah.
right?
But you have creative control of everything.
Exactly.
Which is amazing.
Where does
Yeah.
your show tape?
In Vancouver.
What brought you to LA?
Well, my husband and I were coming back and forth about 13 years ago. And at that point, I had already been like a lead on a show up in Canada and on the sci-fi show. And, you know, things were going really well. But I think I felt like in Canada, there was a ceiling that I'm like, that's it. Can't do any more than this. And the thing about Canada is that we don't have a star system. So it's not that I wanted to be a star, but it's just like once you're done with a show, you're starting back with like at the beginning again. You don't get to level up.
Wait, but I have a question. Let's say you're on a big show and you get but the casting directors, the people working behind the scenes are aware of your work.
Yeah.
They know what you've done. You're saying that plays no part? That has to.
I'm sure it plays a part, but it's not like it is here where you have a certain.
They just
like,
recycle
amount-
actors here. Yeah.
Well, no, like you have a certain amount that you're making.
Yeah.
They're like, okay, well, she's done this, so surely she can do this. Like you get to be pitched a different way.
Wow.
Whereas over there, you're kind of like, okay, well, like get back in the.
Like
you
they
don't get
pigeonhole
offers.
you into something?
Pardon?
Do they pigeonhole you into like certain things? or
Not
is that-
pigeonhole you, but like, you know, you're done a show and it's like, okay, audition for this next one. It's like, come on, man, I was on a show for 3 years. Like,
You're going to have me audition for this
you're gonna,
part?
yeah.
Got it.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
As a filmmaker, I mean, were there like a lot of Canadian? I feel like that's an advantage because you can get like production grants from Canada,
Yeah.
et cetera. You can take advantage of that because obviously I don't know the Canadian landscape as much as you do, but now you've got that knowledge of both LA and Canada. I mean, it's a huge advantage. And I've got to check out your movie, Donkeyhead. I only saw the trailer.
It's very good.
Yeah, I mean, I think what I learned from making Donkeyhead is that Canada is a great place to make your films, and America is a great place to distribute your films. So that's what worked for me because we don't have an audience in Canada. Our country's small, right? In terms of how populated it is. So you come here. So what I did with Donkeyhead was I worked with Array of Ava Duveney's company, and they distributed it, put it on Netflix. And so then I was able to just have this huge audience, which otherwise I don't think I would have had if I just stayed in Canada.
Sure. And that can lead to the next thing. But you know what I liked about that from the trailer? Like I really resonated with it. It's based upon your life of taking care of your father who had cancer, I'm assuming, get chemo.
Yeah, it's not based on a true story. No. I
was
lived.
like,
There was some influence, though.
There was some influence.
Yeah,
I
for
lived
sure.
with my
Oh.
dad when he had cancer, and my mom was his caretaker. And, you know, like I was pregnant at the time in real life. And so it was pretty crazy. And I wrote some of that into.
I mean, I don't get into my personal stuff, but I really resonated with how you did that because I was trying to figure out like an angle and I was like, oh, this girl actually went out and did it and she just pulled from her life.
Yeah, I mean, I think especially as a new writer at the time, you write what you know, or you just write what makes you excited. I also had two budgets. I had a budget for if I did get grants and I had like a ton of money, and I had a budget for like if I had nothing and I had to like
Guerrilla style
guerrilla
it.
style
Yeah.
it because I just knew I was gonna make it. I was gonna make it. And even if it was just my parents in the audience, then
That's fine.
That's fine.
But that's when it gets done. Because
That's
there's
when it
something
gets
that
done.
comes out. I'm doing that right now. And it's just like, this is happening. And I have all these pathways, but regardless if this doesn't work out, it's happening.
Exactly.
And I think you kind of need that mindset to get anything done.
Yeah.
Because if you stay down the path of this is the only path, you might get scorned a
Oh,
little
totally.
bit, right?
So much doesn't get made.
You know, it's great. I don't know you at all. I can see you've got that grit to you as a filmmaker.
And you've worked so hard, right?
Yeah.
I've worked so fucking hard.
Yeah, I can see
I've
that.
worked so hard. I mean, allowed to say that word?
Yeah, you can say what you want. First of all, they're complimentive because they don't know you. But that's why you're getting the compliment. You're not going to get
So we
that.
talk all day.
I love you to death, but I'm not going to give you all those compliments.
I'm learning so much right now.
Do you know what I really like about Agam? And that's actually what I wanted to talk to you about.
Keep telling me.
I will say
So
this.
what
No, I know
is
you
it?
for a long time. It's rare to be an artist, to be as successful as you are. And I wanted to ask you this because I feel like I meet a lot of women in this business who feel as if having a partner is one thing. They already feel like that might stunt their growth, but they definitely feel like children will hinder that ability to succeed, or like I have to make it in my career first before I have kids. And you're already doing well, but how did it work for you? First, your husband's also an artist. So it's not like he's a normal, stable
I didn't marry into money.
Yeah. And so what is that like, that balance of being in that type of relationship? And then how was it having children? And did you have a feeling like this would, your
It's a
career is
three-part
over?
question.
Yeah. But I think it's important because I feel like not many people we know are in that situation.
Yeah, I mean, I just knew that I needed to feel alive, right? And I couldn't be in a relationship where I wasn't going to feel like the other person was giving me something that felt like we both bonded over. So, you know, this was an interesting thing. I remember right before getting married, I was like, okay, so he's an actor and I'm an actor. Like maybe I should get a job again, like going into graphic design. And then this little voice in my head was like, no, don't do that. You've gotten this far. God's given you this person in your life. Like God will take care of you. And on our honeymoon, I got a call that I had booked a recurring role on a show called Stargate Atlantis. And so I did an episode, but then I ended up booking like a few weeks later a series lead on a show called Sanctuary. And then later that year, I booked another series lead. And it was just so abundant because that trust muscle was so strong. It was like, you know what? I'm here. This is pure. This is good. And I'm not gonna go into fear. And then I think we waited a long time before having kids. And I think the same sort of thing happened. Like it's been a really amazing past 8 years of just a lot of adventures and a lot of different projects with amazing people.
But did you feel, because I remember being a part of that, like the conversations we would have before you decided that, but like, did you have a fear that it would hinder your ability to act? And then how have you seen it impact you after?
Yeah, I absolutely had the fear. But I remember Juan and I, my husband, we travel a lot. Yeah. And I remember we were in Nicaragua. And I remember being on the beach and being like, this is really nice, but I really want to like share this with someone that we make that I can like, you know, be like, look at this world. And I think that's when I decided, I think we had been married now like maybe 8 years at that time. I'm like, okay, I'm ready. And then since then, you know, 6 months after having the babies, I wrote a one-woman show that was 75 minutes long that I performed. I worked with Mehta as a lead in one of her movies. I worked with Ava Duveney. I made my own film. I climbed Kilimanjaro. Like I had so much amazing life opportunities. Also because I
that was very
partner.
American of you right now. You sold yourself
I did.
very well.
The
American came out, baby. You know what I'm saying?
I know. But all of this to say, it wouldn't be possible if I didn't have the husband that I have.
Yeah.
Or the family that I have. Yeah. But it's kind of gave me the fire, I think, because I think before that I wasted a lot of time just like being like, I'm going to try to write this. And now it's like, time is money. Like I have
kids
to
are
get
asleep.
this done.
I got 2 hours.
That's pretty much it. Yeah.
I also feel like I need that meandering sometimes for my own creative process to bubble. Like when I put too much pressure on myself, it kind of gets, I guess, bottled up. Like I need that time to like, that's why I walk a lot sometimes at night just so I can like let my thoughts go. Yeah. I want to switch to the Priya real quick. So hearing this, like how do you apply this to your own stand-up journey as a female?
Well, I'm glad you asked that question because I've recently realized that I don't want kids. I was dating this amazing guy, and for the first time,
It was that bad.
for
He
the
was like,
first
no
time,
kids.
there was nothing wrong with him or the relationship. Like, he was loving and supportive. He's also in the entertainment industry, so
I
he
know him.
understood.
And he's a good dude.
Amazing guy, but I just think that for me and what I want to do and where I am in my life, where I'm in my mid-30s right now, I am looking at the future and I'm looking at where I want to put my time and my energy and my efforts, and it's not towards kids. And I'm also not saying that like parents can't make their dreams come true. That's definitely not, because I see so many people that are just thriving right now. They're in their parent era and they're at top peak of their careers and they have kids and they're loving it. But I just think with me, I did follow, there was a gut that has always told me like, hey, listen, you're different and you're built different. And there's, I don't know, there's a lot of guilt involved because I know what my parents want, and I know, I mean, it's obviously so cool to see like a lot of my friends and my family are having kids, so now their kids are all like grown up.
Pritesh is here. He can knock you up. You got a bedroom in the back
I
here.
told my mom I only need 9 months. You feel me?
But I just think that I finally have just been honest with myself and real with myself to be like, I have to listen to, I've created this relationship with myself now, and I have to just like follow my gut, follow my intuition, and focus on, I really like being single. I really like doing the things I want to do. And I even had that thought of like, maybe I'll meet someone that'll change my mind. But I think that recently I've just realized that like, once you get aligned with what you want, and you stop lying to yourself, you're just so much more happier.
You're so smart.
Process.
You're so smart. I'm a few years older than you, and I feel like when I was growing up, I just didn't know there was another option.
Same.
And I'm like, that's really brave of you to be like, no, this is not what I want. Because I'll be honest with you, there are times when I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so domestic. Like, is this really what I want? And the truth is, for me, the decision was right, because the person who I am now is very different than the person I was before I had children, and I feel so much more grounded. And I don't think I could have gotten there by myself. Some people can. I have friends who are like, I'm not having kids, and they've gone through life, and they've gone through like, they've taken everything that life has given them and changed, and that's what we're supposed to do as human beings.
How are you
right?
domestic though? Because you're on a show, you're a filmmaker. I feel like you're so out there.
Yeah, but I could still like.
Well, domestic for Agam is like, like these kids need me to make them food. Like what? That's like domesticated for Agam, bro.
No, I mean like, yeah, I don't know. I think I sometimes feel like I get locked in. I'm like, oh, this is, or you feel like you just don't have enough time, or you feel like, I don't leave the house.
Your show got picked up for season 2.
Yeah.
I read. So congratulations. That's huge
amazing.
on
So proud of you.
CW. That's awesome.
Do you feel like having children's brought you and Juan closer together?
No, I think children could actually tear people apart.
Wow.
Yeah, but
In what way? What does that mean?
I mean, like, we don't have the time to have a conversation. We're
So
just
like the romance, like just you two is hard.
Yeah, like for us, I think though they are our North Star, and so it's just sort of, we've now created do you guys know Esther Perel?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
I went to go see her speak.
I don't know who
last
that
September.
is. Who's Esther Perel?
She is a therapist. She's a really smart, wonderful
Great relationship
woman.
coach too.
Yeah, she's all about relationships. But she says that the average person gets married 3 times in their life.
Yeah.
But you could get
Really?
married.
That's average?
But you could get married to the same person. And me and Juan joke all the time that we're on our second marriage. And I'm like, oh my gosh, you are so much better than my first husband. And he's like, oh my God, you're way better than my first wife. Like, she was a piece of work, but I feel like we've changed so much and we've met each other. We'll probably like go like this again, and we'll, hopefully come back. But
I've learned a lot
I don't
about
think marriage is supposed to necessarily be forever.
I've learned a lot about how I approach relationships through our conversations. Because I understand. No, I mean that because I am not married.
Right.
And I'm dating somebody now, but I have never even lived with a partner. So I think when you've been very honest about like the trials and the tribulations and the amazing things, it's like you start realizing that that is a relationship. That's actually what encompasses a relationship. It's not this Disneyland story that is just like, oh, we're going through a tough time, so we leave. That's not how it works. But that's what's shown.
Yeah.
That's what is. And so I respect you and Juan a lot for that, because you guys can be going through a tough time, but you're still here. You're still here.
I'll be honest. I think Juan's Juan is that person. He's the anchor.
He's a good
'Cause
dude.
There's times when I'm like, that's it. I'm not,
No, trust me.
You know?
I know
But
you're the lucky one in the relationship. Trust me. After getting to know you, I'm like, Juan, thank you, bro. I don't know. You
It's
took one for the
true.
team, for
It's
real.
true.
Yeah.
Priya, do you
it's
feel like
amazing.
living in LA, like you've got to become tougher as a female?
Oh, absolutely. LA will tear your ass apart. I feel
How
like
so?
Well, that depends on who you date.
not in a literal sense. I also think that like I'm a transplant. I moved here from Atlanta, and I'm friends with there's a lot of transplants that you meet where I think like you're this other type of, you've developed this like personality, this character in this other city, and you're like known for all these things, and you come to LA and you have these dreams, and then you realize you're like, okay, you got to start over. And also it's brutal here, right? Because like everyone's creating everything. If you say like, oh yeah, I want to act or podcast or this, that, people are like, yeah, what makes you different? What makes, you know what I mean? Like what makes you even stand out? So I think, and there's a lot of no's in the business as well, a lot of rejection. Even when I wanted to first produce my comedy show and I approached like comedy clubs and I was like, yeah, I'm going to sell out. And they just laugh at me and they'd be like, oh yeah, you want to produce and you want to do that. And I think finally someone gave me a chance and I started doing it. But I think it's like more of like, I kind of like being the underdog where I'm like, no, I'm going to prove you wrong. Even though I'm a nobody, I'm going to become a
And
somebody.
Priya did sell out all her shows, by the way.
Thanks, yeah.
Hearing you talk, I don't think it's a female thing because I can identify with a lot of that. Because I feel like I could have gotten married if I lived in other towns. Like I've lived in like Florida and different parts. And I always felt like if I had a job, you kind of look for the next thing. But here in LA, like you're always looking for the next creative project. And that always like takes up all my time. And unfortunately, everybody kind of gets burned and scorched earth in the process.
Do you think but does at this point with that awareness, do you still want to find a partner per se? Is that important to you?
If they fit in my career, like I will always put my career first. That's just how it is. But know that if I'm attached to it, it will get made and will get done. So that's the value I
You're
bring.
doing it.
DONKEYHEAD, what I liked about that is the South Asian voice, which is not an easy field to get distribution in. You talk to sales agents, people are like, oh, who's in it? Who's the attachments? So like, how can we sell this? So I really love the fact that you made this story because, I've been making Desi stuff for a long time and I know how hard it is. So really, I give you a lot of props.
Thanks so much. Thank you.
I want to say something else because Agam and I last year, we did TBM,
That's right.
To Be Magnetic. And
What is that?
What is that?
It's just a cult.
It's a cult.
It's not a cult.
But
It's not.
it all happened timely. First of all, her family's a freaking gypsy. They're nomads. They're never here, right? Every time I call them, you hang out, she goes, oh, we're in South America. Like, I never know where you guys are. But last year was like the toughest time of my life, right? And in February, she's randomly like, hey, can you help me with an audition?
What was the toughest time of your life?
It was a rough time.
Okay.
In every aspect. And she came, I think it was like February. This was like a year ago. And she came over. She wanted help with the audition. I helped her. And then we just started obviously catching up, like real catching up. And she's like, I was just on a pretty low place. And then you had told me about this app, which is like journaling and entries and a lot of meditations. I'd say things like that, right? Yeah. Kind of like healing journey and finding your own authentic voice. So just coming back to your true self. And I had definitely lost that. And it was awesome. But we had accountability partners. And obviously, Agam was my accountability partner. I still remember this. This is really important. That's why I'm going to bring it up. I remember being in a Trader Joe's parking lot, and we were talking. I sat in the parking lot for an hour talking to her. We're talking. Because she's not always easy to get a hold of. She's mom. So when she calls, like, let me pick up. And she had said something. She goes, Pritesh, I feel like knowing you for a long time, you need to be okay with the fact that, like, half the people love you and half the people can't stand you. And that was like God talking to me. It came out of your mouth. And you probably don't remember.
I don't remember
but
it.
It stuck out to me. Like it's like I've told people that. Like
I've told you that.
I know. And I don't think I'd be doing that if it wasn't for you. So thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
That was
It's not me.
That was a huge moment for me because
Did that change your year?
It started to.
Yeah.
I'm in a way different place. I'm good.
That's good.
Yeah, but I needed that at the moment for sure. Yeah. Big time. Yeah.
Have you had these formative moments in your life where it shifted your perspective of how people interpret you? Especially being on a show right now, I'm sure you've got a brand you got to adhere to.
I think that's something that I'm not great at is how I don't know how people interpret me. And I don't know how to change if they do interpret me differently. Like some people are chameleons. I don't think I am unless I'm in front of a camera. Behind, I'm just who I am. And
I love
a lot
that.
of times it's kind of, it's very painful. Like I wish I was just better at being like smoother and charming. And
Who wants that? I hate those
Because
people.
you're being you though.
You're being you.
Yeah, but it's really painful.
But I feel like who you are is charming. I feel like this idea that charm is this certain way is not true.
I just feel so socially awkward most.
But you are, because you're not likable. But and you're Canadian. No one likes you. Free health insurance, nobody cares. No, actually, I don't think honestly, it's like LA can be overwhelming for even quote unquote extroverted people. You know what I mean? There's a lot going on, and people are constantly like sizing you up and down. And especially in our community, it can be like they always feel like people wondering like, oh, she got that. How'd she get that? Why is she on that? How come I'm not on that? You know. So I don't think you're different or an outlier for feeling that way.
Do you feel like it helps you their writing? Because I feel like that turmoil that I have like fuels everything when I write.
You're totally right. I feel like that's probably my truest self is
Same.
when I'm writing.
Same.
That's
All
where I
this
can be
other
the
stuff,
most honest, the most vulgar, the most, I can try to bring that in to my acting because I've been doing that for so long. And sometimes I get there, but it can still be a little like eyes are on you, But when you're writing, it's like, let's throw this out there.
As a filmmaker, how much of that movie, was it 100% what you wanted to make? Did you get to 80%?
No, it was, I would say, it's probably about like 70, 80% of what I wanted.
That's pretty solid.
But
That's really good.
I feel like in a lot of ways it was better than what was on this page. Yeah.
Are you going to make another movie?
Yeah, I'm writing something. I've been writing it for a few years now.
The way you said, it was like this pain.
It's like,
so
it has to happen, but you're like, it's going to be so much work.
No, I'm already in it. I'm like probably 9 drafts in, and half of it I love, and the other half I just can't seem to get right. And so I'm not ready to. I have like agents and managers being like, "When's your next draft? When's your next draft?" And I'm just like,
Give me
"It's
a sec.
coming."
Do you ask Juan to read your stuff, or do you guys keep all that separate?
He hasn't read this one yet, but yeah, he's really good at proofreading. Although I guess we have AI now, so I don't need him anymore.
ChatGPT.
Priya, who do you have look over your stuff creatively, or are you like a solo voice?
I do a ton of writing on my own. I actually practice like when I'm around like my friends and stuff. I'll like story tell or this or that, and I kind of like gauge it based off of like how I am socially. But yeah, no, I don't really run anything by. I kind of just like, again, like I'll have a process where I'll write and then I'll rewrite and make sure that.
Do you write by hand?
No, I used to. Now I'm either putting on
fast enough.
Are we talking about your stand-up or about like scripts and stuff that you're writing?
Sorry, I'm talking about stand-up,
Okay.
but I've also gotten into writing as well. A friend and I started to write a feature together. She's actually like a writer, like she has an agent and all of that and stuff. So she was actually teaching me, and I really liked that process too because it unlocks this I guess this talent in you where you're like, wait, we can write. Like we're capable of doing this. And I didn't realize that even like growing up and stuff, like we're constantly writing emails and writing this, writing that. But when you sit down and you put your brain to it, like I actually really enjoyed the process, and I definitely want to like continue to take a deeper dive into it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Pritesh, you write?
I work with a writer. I can write. I wouldn't say I am a writer.
Yeah.
Stand up, of course. That's easy to me.
You're great with dialogue.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I work better in the team. I'd say like even when we did, because I'm like the weird, crazy person. Like my Dennis will come over, he'll do it, or we'll talk, and I'm the guy running around with visuals in my head.
Yeah.
This is what's happening. This person says this person says that. Okay, no. Like I just see images. It's like I'm in a different world.
Same. Even when I was
But
working
I'm not
with
always good at putting it on. It's nice to have someone who can take that imagery or take my idea and be like, okay, this is how we're going to put it on paper. That's at least how I like to work, yeah.
How do you approach your show as a writer? I mean, you must love acting, obviously, run a show, but I mean, I can't imagine just getting a script and you've got to say the lines and just show up. Do you have to be like, I can rewrite this and make this scene better?
Yeah. I mean, the good thing about this show is that I have great showrunners and great writers, so they're really open to, those kinds of ideas. And I'm also very, very respectful to the fact that this is their show, and I'm just like
you're helping tell their story.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a fine line. But yeah, if I really feel like something's probably going to pop, as long as it's for the betterment of the story and not for the betterment of myself, then I think it's
a
fair
really
game.
cool concept.
Yeah.
You have agoraphobia and you're helping this blind detective. it's
solve crimes from
really
4,000
cool.
miles away.
Like, check it out. It's actually a really cool concept. I got to watch episodes when I get home.
Yeah.
But I also want to plug your thing called Sacred Creativity Camp.
Yeah.
Can we talk about that?
Yeah. Thanks for bringing it up. It was, we did our first one this year, and it's me and Orsi Sabo. And she has been my personal coach for a lot of different things. She's helped me book tons of shows like the one that I'm on as an acting coach, but she also she does ultras. So she's like she's done Ironman. And so she coached me for Kilimanjaro. So those kinds of things, we just work so well together.
Wait, coach you for Kilimanjaro?
Yeah.
You hiked Kilimanjaro?
Yeah.
How'd she coach you for that? Just like physical? Oh,
Yeah.
she does ultras.
Because she does ultras. So she's like, okay, we're going to like work your way up. We're going to do like this hill. And
That
then
is a
this
podcast
mountain.
on its own. I'm so curious about, but let's keep going. Yeah.
Anyways, she and I have a very similar philosophy in terms of creativity and the fact that creativity is divine and that it's not really about us. It's about our own just sort of authentic voices working through us. And so we wanted to create this retreat, and it was really wonderful because we met women who at the beginning were saying things like, oh, I'm not really a creative. Gosh, I can't.
You're hitting
remember.
everything.
I know, I was hitting that too. They were like, I'm not really a creative person. But then by the end of it, they were doing improv, they were doing movement and dance, and they were drawing and painting. So they really kind of went through this whole, arc and this whole journey and felt really empowered to do more of that and bring little micro habits back into their own lives moving forward. So yeah, I think, we want to do more of it. It's just really...
It was really cool. You're giving back to the community and you're giving people access to you. And you're a person of, of public interest, and you can spend a weekend or however long the retreat is with you and get mentorship. It's a really great deal.
Yeah, I mean,
I was like, I should sign up for this and go to Mexico.
You can sign up. You need to invite me over for dinner. I'm not signing up. I'm coming over for dinner and you cook it. That's how I'm going.
Yeah, we'll do that. We'll do that.
Yeah.
Both of it, all of it. Yeah. I mean, I don't, it's funny. Like you don't see yourself as someone that anybody's particularly interested in spending time with. At least I don't. But I think the work is something that's interesting. And I think my partner, Orsi, has also a lot to offer. And so I think between both of us, we're just a really great balance. And I felt so proud of the women that it was all women, the women who were a part of it this year.
Oh, I can't be a part of it then.
No, you can. It's open to women and men. It just happened to be that.
Oh, I was going to.
She doesn't look. She's not exclusive like that. She's very open.
Can I just say something? It was in Baja, and I saw the beach that we were on. It was whale season, and we saw whales. Yeah, just jump daily, like Free Willy. Humpbacks.
Wow.
It was incredible.
I'm obsessed
Shooting
with whales.
stars, sound
so
baths.
sick.
So where's the next retreat going to be?
We're probably going to be doing it at the same place in Burbank.
Right when you said all that, you sounded like a girl named Rachel in Santa Monica. It was just the whales and like we were just the sun. It was so beautiful. I have to tell you.
I really felt my third chakra.
So do you think you're going to settle here in LA? I mean, I feel like you're always jumping around.
We're here. Our kids go to school
She
here.
has a house here. They have a house here.
Yeah.
Like they're planted.
But it's just that we
You're
travel.
one of those people. You have houses.
We travel a lot, and we.
How do you balance all of that? Like all that you do and the family and the travel and everything like that? There's so much.
No, I mean, I can't imagine living another way. I think my husband and I both have like just a desire to never feel locked down. I think freedom is such an authentic part of both of us that we give each other freedom to be the people that we want. Like he's also a poker player.
I was just going to say, no, he's not just a poker. He's like World Series type poker
No
player.
way, that's
Like,
so cool.
He's
Yes.
legit.
Are you a poker player too?
No, not at all.
She has the worst poker face on the planet. You would know her cards suck, bro. She'd be like, oh.
Actually, I would think she would have a good poker face.
I don't know, dude. I'm going to give her that much credit. I'm going to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Maybe if it was a character, but if it was just Agam, it's not going to be a good poker face.
you're going to see it all.
Yeah, she's going to be like, I quit acting. It's over. I'm done.
Or you could play a poker player.
Yeah, that'd be different.
It's funny, you know what? He's saying all this, I quit acting stuff, but like if I were to meet you, I'd be like, this girl's very confident and she's got this, I can tell that you've gone through stuff.
Yeah.
I think it's because I think it's, at least I see a difference objectively since you have kids.
Yeah.
Because you're so much more grounded. And when,
I mean, I don't think I could be that way with children and be like, okay, I quit. Okay, I quit. Okay, I quit. Like, I don't want them to be that way, so I'm not going to be that way.
Why do you think that you have to have kids to be grounded?
I don't think you have to. I'm just saying what I've witnessed. I don't think you have to have kids to be grounded at all. It can go either direction. I'm just saying knowing you well before you had children And I think now it's because it's made you less about you. I think it's just less about you. Not only did you go into parenthood, you end up having twins. Yeah. That's a lot. And so it's just different. It's just like now, instead of acting being your personality, it's just what you do. You write and you do those things, but like you're a mother first in many ways. I feel like that's a big priority for you. So I've just seen that change. But it was funny to be around you then too. I liked it.
Did you?
Yeah, it was pretty chaotic. I enjoyed it a lot. I was like, this girl's crazy.
Do your kids like know what exactly you do, or do you have an idea? Or
They do. They came to set last year, and it was really wonderful to see them just sort of absorb for the first time. Like, oh, like there's the camera, and look, Mama's on the monitor, and they were able to sit in the
Mama's
director's
solving
chair.
crimes.
Yeah,
That's
like
so
it was
cool for
really,
them.
really
So cool.
special.
What a sick
I know.
like thing
Yeah.
for them.
Yeah.
It's really great. Are you still doing your book club?
Oh,
I love reading.
Really?
Yeah, I do.
Oh, I love that you asked that. No, we did it gearing up to the Sacred Creativity Camp. So, like, we had talked about maybe continuing it. Do you think we should?
I think you
I'm
should.
down
I
to
watched your
join.
book club videos. I was like, oh, that's cool.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, I should check out this book. I added it to my list.
There's so many creative books out there.
Are you
that
reading
so
anything
good.
right now?
I just finished All Fours by Miranda July. Do you know that book?
No.
no?
Oh, it's good. It's very. Have you read it?
I haven't read it. I know what it is. Yeah.
It's pretty like. It's good. It's about a woman going through perimenopause, and it's a lot about sex and masturbation, and like it's
Relax.
about sexuality.
This sounds like Priya's documentary.
No,
But-
because it is so important to have books like that out
Yeah.
there, because I think we don't get enough of that. Oh my God, can I just go on a tangent?
Yeah.
Yeah,
And this
please.
is probably going to come back one day to bite me in the ass, but I'm
cares?
going to say it. Okay, so I watched Honora. Have you guys seen it?
I haven't seen it.
I haven't seen it.
I haven't seen it.
But before you say $6 million budget and they spent $18 million on the Oscar campaign, I think it's important people know that.
So I like Sean Baker.
Yeah.
As a person, I like his speeches. I like who he is, and I was excited to see this movie. And I think as a movie, it was entertaining. It was fun, but I was just so shocked that it was disguised as this feminist movie, but it's not. Like, it's about a hooker with a heart of gold, and like, you know, this.
What a long line.
I wasn't worried about like this. I didn't care about the nudity or the sex. I was like, who cares about that? It was just sort of the feeling of this movie and this woman who's just not okay without a man in her life. Like, it was just like, man, are we back here?
I haven't seen it, but now
I don't know.
I
Go
need to
see it.
watch
Tell
it.
me
So
what you
you
think.
felt like that was the marketing didn't equate the story.
No, I was just surprised that people were really championing this film, and it felt like it was probably 15 years old.
Interesting.
It's reductive film. Yeah.
Did you watch it?
From a description, I don't need to anymore. It
No,
sounds
you
like
should watch it because people love it. I have so many friends
Everyone
who
I
love
know
it.
liked it.
I know.
So,
And it's good. It's very enjoyable. But it's just, I think it's problematic, especially in the climate, because we're sort of like regressing from Me Too, I think.
Yeah, I mean, this is a whole other conversation, but I feel like films, but I do feel like films, sometimes they can reflect the zeitgeist. And other times you can see like where society's going. The Oscar choices definitely reflect that every year.
Yeah.
Are you big into Hollywood and like you keep tabs and everything in addition to your stuff? I don't at all.
Shit, I don't think
Not
you
at
should. Oh, do you even own it? Oh, you own a TV once you
No,
have
we
kids.
do. Yeah.
They didn't even have a TV before.
I don't have a TV.
Yeah, they didn't watch anything.
Yeah.
Wait, you don't have a TV? You don't watch anything either?
I have a computer.
You watch it on the computer?
Watch my podcast. I'm like, okay.
Watch myself.
It's because I have no time. Like when people say I got to binge all these shows, I'm like, what time do you have to binge stuff? Like I'm constantly like going thing to thing. I don't have kids either.
No, I hear you. I'm with you. I'm the same way. Yeah, it's hard to stay afloat.
What can we promote for you on this podcast? Like what can we look forward to seeing?
I'm about to go to Canada again in April. I'm doing this limited series called In the Pines, which is going to be exciting. And then, you can watch Sight Unseen. Season 1 is on the CW. And just stay tuned for more information about the Sacred Creativity Camp.
And the book club.
And your movie on Netflix.
Oh, yeah, DONKEYHEAD on Netflix.
And your movie to be that's going to come out
Oh, gosh.
20 years from now. That's
No, please, no.
Movie stage.
I'll it's called Tiny Birds with Broken Brains. We'll see.
We'll come back on when the movie comes
I
out.
would love to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. This
I'm
is
so
so
happy
fun,
you
and you guys
came.
are so cool and nice.
I learned so much. This was amazing.
Pritesh has been talking to you up honestly, like for the past like 2 months. He was like, "You got to get my friend Agam on." So yeah, for sure. Like
It's the only way
guy's awesome.
it's the only way she'll hang out
You
with
know,
me.
do you know what's so great about Pritesh is that he's really prickly, but he has so much integrity. Like as a friend, he's the guy that you call when you're like, I'm stuck and please come and help me.
100%.
He will be there. And that's not just like, there's a lot of people, right, that won't show up that way.
I've had
you.
moments with you and I'm like, fuck this shit.
I'm like very loyal.
Yeah.
And as you know, but now I've learned to put up boundaries to make sure it's equal.
People deserve that loyalty.
Yeah. And I don't mean that from an ego place, but like, we've talked about that. Yeah. But thank you. I feel the same way.
I'm exact opposite.
Not loyal at all.
You're not.
Like I've just given so much advice and sat down with people, and then they blow up, and I never hear from them ever again in my life. Like they just take off. I'm like, welcome to Hollywood.
Yeah. No, I get a lot of people also asking for that. And it's kind of this like, it's really hard sometimes to say no, but you have to do it because it takes a lot of time.
But I appreciate you coming on the podcast. Priya, where can we find you on social media?
You could find me at Mehta on Instagram and Priya.Mehta on TikTok.
You find me at the Pritesh Shah.
Agam Darshi on Instagram.
Great.
I think that's it.
Yeah. Well, thanks for coming on. Best of luck with all your endeavors. And
so much.
thank you guys for tuning in. Please find me at Tarun Shetty. And please join our Instagram page, the CONVO Sutra. Follow us on YouTube. Join our Patreons. Send this to your friends. Sponsor an episode. We appreciate you guys watching, and we'll see you guys next time.